right. Okay. Okay. List packages. Okay, so that is busted. But we're gonna it's gonna get better. Okay, so this is already a little goofy. I think I need to be off by one a little bit. So let's do +2. Oh. Oh, that's annoying. I might need to. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to. Oh, what is that about? Okay. Well, first, let's undo this so that I'm actually using the release build. And then package. I mean, if I do this like twice, what happens? What does it look like? Oh, well, that's better. Okay. Okay, so the styling is a bit off. And my like picker looks kind of ugly. Okay, so we have like this. Okay, well that works, and you can do this. Okay, but what does that actually do? Sherman, stop it. Stop. Okay. Hey, stop it. The dog is. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The dog is destroying his bed. All right, all right, all right. All right. So this is all busted. Like, why is that the way it is? Is this... Oh, this is rendering over. So if I, like... I see. Okay, so it's my, like, selection line is rendering too far. So let's check it out. Go to picker selection. Why is that not working? All right. Okay. All right, so we need new LSP build. New LSP build first. Thank you for the thank you for the subscription. Huge for the program. I need to add a Sherman emote. That's on the to-do list. This is taking forever to build. This is crazy. Oh, if this will finish building, then we can get back to it. This is crazy. This is like the slowest release build of all time. I don't know why it's taking so long. Come on. All right, here we go. Now we have new LSP, and this should work. There we go. Okay. So now what happens if I run this? Okay, so the preview function is goofy. So let's go check that out. Like, why would, I mean, if I go back, why is that? Oh, it's not the preview, it's the selector. Like the, there we go. That's working better. So the selection I think is too long. Okay, this is incomprehensible. Crank steel tender. That's correct. I was cooking today. The whole looking for the sequel, that one had to sit in the in the mind palace for like a whole evening. Okay. So let's fix this part. Because I have a selection prefix. Highlight prefix. What the heck does that do? Highlight prefix. Okay. Highlight prefix. So let's highlight prefix. I see. I think I rendered the whole width. At least that's what it seems. Where is row? This comes from view slice, which is an what is slice? What is slice? Is that a steel function that I'm not aware of? Did I write it and forget? So picker items view. I guess slice is a function that I've implemented. I don't remember doing that, but that's fine. So then prefix. Am I just filling it with spaces? I see, I am. Wide string. So when I list the packages, it's just too wide. I'm one too long. Or not? See, now it works fine. That's weird. Wonder if I'm not just I'm not rendering. Okay. So maybe I need to actually use the proper theming. Okay, so I don't want to use that anymore. This theme to background stuff. Let's try to get rid of that. Do I even use found style? Let's try theme. It literally I crashed the LSP there. That's crazy. The LSP just crashed. Oh, try list ref all. What is that about? Okay, let's just do require helix components instead of directly. Okay. So we'll try like define found style. Do like theme. Make block with a border style. What are all of the theme scopes? Theme UI.background. UI background. Is there like a border? UI.window? Maybe not. Let's try that. I don't think that really made a difference. I needed to do it here. All right. Okay, why does it render that way? Where all of this like gray part. Like if it's on a comment, it renders with that. Oh, maybe because it doesn't have a foreground set. Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe we do like make block style is the borders themselves is like UI.picker. Is that a thing? UI.background.separator. Border style and then the border style. Let's try. Let's try that. All right, and then config reload. Okay, it's not quite right. Maybe I need to clear first. Well, I do clear. Maybe I need to clear the preview area as well. Wipe it out. Oh, that certainly didn't do it. That's really strange. It's still drawing the it's still drawing that. Make string maybe just one less. I did like 5 less. Actually. Okay. That seems to do that. Okay, that's cool. But what about this thing on the top? Okay, the foreground is none. Okay, so the foreground is none. Like, is there like a box? Like, what are we doing? Theme, scope, ref. Okay, nothing has a foreground. I guess it's just like the default text. Maybe just UI.text. It's like theme, scope, UI.text. Okay, so maybe let's try that. Let's try like we'll try to combine the background with also the UI.text. What does that mean? Type. Okay, so then the background is going to be that, and then we're going to swap this. Don't need that. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, now our box is goofy. Our little preview box. So for that, I'm going to need to make it not as ugly. How does it not make a difference at all? Okay, this doesn't get used at all. So then this is area is XY width. So let's subtract like 2. See what that looks like. Okay, that looks a little bit better. A little bit better. Not perfect, though. So I think what I want to do is I don't want to just render like loaded successfully. I think I also want to render like what are the exported commands from this module. I think that would be helpful. So let's go back to that. Like if you run this, if I just like run eval, or if I run, yeah, module exported. Do like module exported. Let's do like term dot. What am I doing here? I require this, but I don't provide it. Let's provide X. Where is it? List packages. Okay, let's do provide module exported. So if I list packages, I have term.scm. Okay, great. So I call path package and I do term.scm. Oh, no. Module exported. Module exported term.scm. It doesn't exist. That's odd. Do I even use this anymore? Maybe this is wrong. That might not be how modules are mangled these days. Let's check it out. Actually, we can do this a little bit better. I can just... Let me just check, like, foo. I think I was screwing with this earlier. This says test. Yeah. Okay, so if I require foo... If I require that, it's going to define the module. Oh, yeah. I can't do this anymore. Shoot. Right. Because now I'm interning the strings. Now I'm interning the strings, which is not great. Well, it is good. But it means I can't just arbitrarily find it. Do I have any functions in Steel that can make this better? Okay, I have that. Let's check primitives. Let's check that. Could be something there. It's a little tricky. There's list modules, perhaps. These are only built-ins. Those are only built-in modules. Registering values as a module. This is tricky. Might need to implement some more stuff to do this. Okay, where do I call it? Path to prefix name. Yeah, that's tricky. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to say, great, you've booted up all of your stuff. Let me go ahead and find each package. And for each package, go like inspect those packages and then find what is available. Find what functions are available. And then like mess with them. Be able to look at it. And I think to do this, I need just to expose a function that actually, like this function basically. I need to expose like a path to package. So let me just do that. Let me just do that. Like path to module. And let me just see. Cause is there any other way to do this? Does Racket have anything that like this? It's like find all exported symbols from a module Racket. I guess what I probably want is this. I want like module exports. I guess that's more like what I'd want. I have like, this will be like context. And then it'll be like this business here. Be like this business. Okay, so then it's like, we want like module exports impl, which we'll call module exports impl, and it'll take CTX and args. So this will be a symbol. And then this will either return, like if I do this in Racket, if I'm like module exports foo, is it going to be like it doesn't exist? Yeah, okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, so then this will be like stop generic we'll say this is a type mismatch. And they're going to find whatever module is there. And then otherwise we're going to do like ctx dot thread dot compiler dot read. We're going to find here, and we're guard dot module manager, or what does modules do? I mean, that's basically what I want. Find the modules, and then I'm going to get so we're going to let as path is going to be it's just going to be that thing. So we want to do this, and then we're just going to say we're going to just update it if it works. Otherwise, then we're going to get the path. Also, we're going to return unable to resolve module. Give me that module. We'll give like that or something. Gonna get this, and then module dot what? Module dot what? Now I need to look at all the provides this module gives. Oh, this is so annoying. All right. We keep chugging along. All right, so I need to actually get all of the provides out. So we're just going to do that. Let provides equals thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I've only recently started doing this. It's fun. It's a fun time to stream. I kind of like focus up. I've been streaming pretty often though, so I appreciate it. You got the 21st on the calendar. Were you there when I said I'm disappointed that it's a vibe coded scheme that he's presenting? I will be there though. I will be there. I will be there. I am excited. It was fun the last time I went. Although it's quite long. 3 hours is a long time. I know. I'm like, I'm sure it'll be interesting. Like the guy sounds intelligent, or he has demonstrated the fact that he's a smart guy. But we will see. We will see how it goes. So what I'm trying to do today, I'm trying to make a little package manager for Helix. So I'm making a little UI thing. So far it kind of works. But I need some more APIs on Steel for the preview on the right side to do I'm trying to get the list. I used to be able to do this and then I regressed the behavior, and so I'm just adding the function back to do it properly on the Steel side to get the list of exported symbols from a module, so that way I can like pull this up and it'll be like, okay, so this is a module that you loaded as a plugin. Did the module succeed in being loaded or not as a plugin? If it did, here's the list of symbols that were exported. You see, yes, I was really confused. I thought it was the same guy, Friedman, because I was like, how many Friedmans can there be in the Scheme universe? And apparently 2, at least. At least 2. At least 2. But so, unfortunately, in order to do this, I need to do this one first, which is a bit of a chore. But I'm going to do it. For provide the little learner. I haven't read that. I haven't read it. Anurag is the guy that may be there. He has done lightning talks before. I've only been one time. I've only been one time. But it could be good. That's not gonna work. What the heck is this doing, man? Okay, if for each thing for each provide. Oh, okay, I got it. What is scale? Barely able to comprehend little schemer or maybe seasoned schemer. I'll be honest with you. They also kind of go over my head. Southern California Linux Expo. When is it? I don't think I'm going. I don't live in Southern California. Scale Linux. March 6th to 9th, Pasadena. Are you going? Reason Schemer, Little Prover, Little Typer, Little Learner. I started reading in college. I read like maybe 200 pages of types in programming languages. The textbook, TAPL. And then I was like, you know what? I'm good. And I haven't gone back. You know what book I would recommend though? Hold on, let me grab it. I would recommend this. A Garbage Collection Handbook. Maybe one of the best books I've ever read. Like textbook wise. Best book I ever read. Non-textbook. Great question. I have no idea. I really like Dune, but I've also been reading some Hemingway lately. I'm like 3/4 of the way through For Whom the Bell Tolls. Excellent book. Excellent book. You are going. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going. I have literally only ever heard about it just from you for the first time. I've never heard of it before. I wouldn't really consider myself I wouldn't really consider myself like a Linux enthusiast, quite frankly. Not that I have anything against Linux. I literally use Linux. I'm currently on Linux. But I wouldn't drop myself into the follows Linux enough to know about Scale crowd. Maybe I should though. It's cool. SICP, ANSI Common Lisp. So I've read SICP enough. Haven't read any of the other ones. I don't know. I don't think they're not worth doing. They're definitely worth doing. Like I think people have been pretty clear that like those books provide value. I'm more of a like I just go and like do the thing. So like I was reading the Garbage Collection book while I was like working on the Steel Garbage Collector. So it was like, well, I wrote a Garbage Collector that was bad. And then I was like, you know what? Let me go learn some things. And then I went back to the book and then I like read the book, enough of the book to be like, okay. And then I came back and then I like implemented it. But also, you know, there's a lot of literature on Lisp, or Scheme Lisp, whatever. So you might constantly be reading stuff. What does this return? Like if I do this, module exports racket lists. That's not a thing. Okay. It returns a bunch of symbols. But what is the other thing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's your language of choice? Do you have a language of choice? Module exports. Clojure. Okay, Clojure's really cool. Is that why you were in the jank chat the other day? Of course. I was also there. I love anything that's hard, and jank looks hard. So I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm here to watch it happen. I've been fussing with some Spark stuff lately. Apache Spark. I think I've mentioned this before. And it's all done in Scala. And Scala is really nice, but like part of me wants to like rip out what I was working on and instead do it in Clojure for absolutely no reason. It probably would be a lot harder to do it in Clojure. However, could be cool. Could be cool. I know it'd be. I'd love to like. I think he's in Seattle though. I would love to meet up with him or something, hang out. But you know. Oh no, it's not that anything would be harder explicitly. It's that like all of the Apache Spark stuff is like natively Scala. Like Spark is written in Scala, and therefore, when you're like interfacing with all of their libraries, it very elegantly makes a lot of sense to use Scala because everything maps to Scala. You can use any of the JVM languages. It just becomes less obvious how to do it. Like when you're interoping between the two, it's like you're, instead of communicating over like the Scala layer, you're communicating over the JVM layer of just like objects and classes and stuff, which is, again, it's fine. But like, I'm trying to write as little Scala code as possible. It is quite nice though. The tooling has gotten really good over the years, relative to previous experiences that I've had. Okay, let me just symbol v. Let me just try this really quick. Why is this? List out resolve. What was I doing here? Okay, we'll do. We'll do this. Can't imagine using PySpark instead of ScalaSpark. Yeah, so that's something really, really neat. Actually, you might be something interesting I did at a last company, which I feel like reviving, because I think it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever done it before. It might have been it might be one of the, what is going on here? I think that's all I need to do. I did something at a last company that I really want to revive. Is so one thing that's really interesting is I spent a lot of time reading the PySpark internals and the way it interacts over like Py4j and stuff like that, which I thought was cool. So what I did was I wrote, so like at the company I was at previously, we had, a few thousand Spark jobs that were just written in Scala, like Scala Spark, with like, we had like all these wrappers for accessing data and like case classes and things like that, which was definitely like being left behind in the ecosystem. Yeah, Py4j. You know how PySpark works? Shit is insane. So they create they call it like a JVM gateway. And they basically, like, PySpark is just remote handles into a JVM instance that they're like messing with. Like, that's how they do it. So you are literally like querying the JVM like global namespace and making stuff dynamically. It's IPC, but it's like even weirder because it's like your variables on the Python side are just like opaque handles to a global on the Java side. And so like you don't know what's there. You're just like, you just call stuff and like just check. Like it's all just like, use this fully qualified path and like fully qualified class name, and like if it works, great. If it doesn't, like raise an error. Like everything is just like opaque boxes with type names and stuff, which is really cool. Like, it's neat that it works in the first place. But so my company had a lot of whatever you call, like, we had all these like ways to use Spark that weren't just like using the native APIs. Like we had all these like class wrappers and stuff. So the Scala API that like we had built internally was like really pleasant to use. Which meant though that like we had all these like data access ways of accessing the data and like storing it and writing it to like Hadoop and S3 and all this stuff that was like not native to PySpark. So then all these people were trying to write PySpark and they like literally had to rewrite all of the code. So then I was like, what if instead we just didn't. And so I code genned Python that made it look like you were using all of the exact same APIs from the Scala side by like doing reflection against the JVM instance to code gen all of the Python bindings after you loaded your jar in, and it was gas. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. There's a lot of crazy shit with Spark. It's really, really cool. Spark is really cool, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Okay, so let me just do register native function definition module. What was it? Module. Okay. Let's check this out. And then if this works, I'm going to go put it into Helix. Or like merge it into Steel, and then I'll update Helix, and then I'll reinstall Helix, and we continue on. Okay, so what was it? Module exports. Okay, module exports. Now I need a module. What if I did like private Steel contracts? Okay, that didn't work. It's just contract, excuse me. Okay, it works. Awesome. Awesome. So now if I like require foo. Okay, wait, well that was expected. Hold on. I knew that. Or actually, we'll do like require test. Now if I did module exports test. Why does it come up twice? Everything comes up twice. Make function C is coming up like a billion times. Well, that's not right, is it? Lib Python CLJ, not just for closure, good for general JVM Python runtime. It's in process calls embedding one in the other. I think you can do it from the other side. So JVM side embeds Python interpreter, or Python interpreter embeds JVM. I think I have seen it, but I like forgot about it. But that's pretty cool. So they just like shove a whole instance inside, so they're accessing it like directly rather than across the process boundary. That's pretty cool. Are you familiar with Data Fusion at all? Like Apache Data Fusion? It's kind of like the new hot thing. Haven't seen Data Fusion. Would recommend checking it out. It's very cool. I mean, not that you really have a need for it exactly, but I made bindings for Steel to it, and then I was able to write UDFs for Steel on Data Fusion, which was sweet. And I also can do SQLite UDFs with Steel, so that's pretty cool too. That's pretty cool. Okay, what am I trying to do? Let me just do some printing because I'm confused. I mean, my secret is I absolutely loathe data engineering. I love query engines, and I like problems that are hard like that, but I hate like actually using the thing. If that at all makes sense. Fuck, why did I do that? Yeah. It's like it's way cooler to write the query engine than it is to actually write the damn query. That's my opinion. And the biggest thing is like most of the time when you're doing stuff like that, you have to sit around and wait forever for something to happen. And I don't like that. Okay, so I have make function. Okay. Maybe this is provide. Yeah, that should fix it. Yeah, DevOps plus DBA. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, sometimes you just want to write some code. You know what I mean? I get it. Although it's becoming less and less something people seem to care about these days. Awesome. That is good stuff. Okay, I'm just going to like rip that to master. I don't see any reason why that won't be cool. Okay, I'm just ripping that to master. Now that that's done, we can continue continue with our order of things, which is shaving all of the yaks. All right, cargo update steel core. I saw a tweet. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Get reset. Get pull. Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, I wanted to do that anyway. Sorry, my bad. Well, I'm not on Twitter, but I saw a tweet. Someone sent it to me. I'm actually not on anything, which is maybe a detriment to my ability to market myself, but also I don't really care. That was like, yeah. So to your point, like being a polyglot code reader is going to be a big plus. I mean, the argument stands, right? If the AI is writing the code, the AI can read the code, and at some point, the AI is just going to do everything. But like the biggest argument, like this tweet, it was the guy who made like open code or whatever the heck that thing is called. His name is Dax or something like that. And he was like, turns out like most organizations just spent time writing the code, which helped them spend time thinking about the problem. And therefore, a lot of the time that they now spend just like slinging code turns out is just a bunch of bad ideas. Whereas previously that they would like find quickly that their bad idea was a bad idea before they wrote all the code for it. And that like most people then don't really care about working 10 times as much with all these new tools. And instead they prefer to just do their 9 to 5 and go home. So a lot of people have now these tools and instead choose to just do exactly what they were doing before with less energy, because why would you work harder for no reason? Like from a 9 to 5 perspective, you're not reaping those benefits, which I think is like that. It matches my experience of what I've seen at work is that like people are not shipping 10 times more features. They're doing exactly what they were doing before. Maybe even arguably slower, sometimes a little faster. And then you try to like actually deploy something. Maybe you wrote something like 8 times faster than you would have previously, and then you try to like actually do something with it, and it still takes like 6 days to get something out because of just like how being at a company is. You know, like you got to talk to this person, you got to do that, and you got to do that, and you got to do that, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. Okay, let's do a little rebuild on Helix first, and then we continue shaving the yaks. But yeah, people, I don't. Are you familiar with the whole Helix plus steel thing, Sorcerer? If that's how you pronounce that, Sorcerer. It seems like it would be. Sorcerer with code. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so Helix. Are you familiar with Helix at all? The text editor. Okay, cool. Let's do packages. So Helix is this text editor, which it's like I think it's pronounced Kaquan. I'm not a linguist. Editor written in Rust. I think it predates Zed. From what I understand, it predates Zed, maybe. I don't know. Editor written in Rust. It's like Kaquan and Vim. Sort of both. Similar to both. However, a couple of years ago, I was like looking around. I was just goofing around. And I was like, oh, this editor's cool. And like I'd been working on Steel for a long time. And I was like, what if I put Steel into Helix? This was just completely independent on my own because Helix didn't have any plugins. And so I used it as an exercise. Yeah, Zed is the last editor. Oh, there will always be more editors. Every programmer ever has decided that they want to use their own editor at some point, and then they start a newfangled effort to produce their own editor. Some continue, some don't. Zed is just another one of those efforts, and it may or may not be the last editor you ever use, but I bet every single person who went from VS Code, they dabbled with a little Emacs, they did a little Sublime, then they ended up on Vim, then they were like, oh, NeoVim's cool. Oh, then 6 months later, they were like, what's this Helix thing? They jumped to Helix, and they're like, oh, 6 months later, no plugins yet, let me go jump to freaking Zed. I bet in a year, they'll find a new one. But anyway, I found Helix, and I was like, this is cool. Correct. They did the same. They were originally making so Zed was originally like a collaborative editor, like that was their whole shtick, which I thought was actually pretty neat, all things considered. Not that I really have much interest in it, but I thought it was cool. And then they pivoted to just injecting AI like Cursor does, or Cursor actively does. Helix doesn't have any, like Helix is pretty bare bones with respect to like holistic features. It has like a lot. It has like batteries built in or whatever they call it for the most part. So it has like, it sports LSP out of the box, and it has like a file picker, but it doesn't have like a file tree. It doesn't have a file watcher. It doesn't have all these things. They were delegating that to a plugin system that wasn't implemented yet. And then I found Helix independently, batteries included, yes. I found Helix independently, didn't realize that they had a discussion about plugin system. And I was like, let me just put Steel in this for fun. And then like a weekend later, I had like a demo basically. And then a couple months or like a month went by, and I realized that a couple months went by, and I found a thread that they were like interested in Steel. So then I started working on it just because. Opened a PR like 2.5 years ago on it, and have just been hacking on it and making it better ever since. And I think it's basically at the point where it's like good to go. It could have been merged a while ago, but also it only has improved. And simultaneously, I've been working on Steel a lot at the same time. So like Steel has gotten way better, and like the integration with Helix has gotten way better. And so the most recent topic, if you're curious, there's like a freaking 8 billion comment PR of everyone chiming in and being mad about it. Someone was like, they're like, nobody has we need like a plugin UI. Totally fine. I have a package manager, but it's just a package manager, okay? And it's not very good. It works though. It works where you can be like install from a URL or a get URL or install from the registry, and it'll like install the thing. And then you can use it in Steel or in Helix or whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let me make a little like a little plugin thing. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, Lisp as an extension language is, I think it's really good. There's a lot of features about it that make it good. I don't think it's uniquely positioned to be good. Like, I think lots of other languages are good as well. But the secret sauce here, at least in my opinion, is that I both wrote Steel and also the integration to Helix. And as a result, it's it's a really good way to flex the embedding API and to understand like what is good and bad about like what I've done to embed it. And so it's only improved. Okay. So now, if I do this, yeah, Elis. I mean, like, yeah, Elis was kind of like the inspiration, and then Fennel, same vibe. I don't know what Joyride is. And I mean, quite frankly, I think it's awesome. I think like what I've done with Helix and Steel is like my magnum opus. It works so freaking well. Like, it's shocking to me how well it works. And I think it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better with time. And like, I've managed to do this. Like, I've been developing this for like I said, 2.5 years. And like, I don't think I've like ever broken the API. And I know that's a problem that like NeoVim has, where like between versions, like things break a lot. I've done like a pretty good job of like not breaking stuff. I made like one breaking change like early, but that was early, obviously. Yeah, so like the runtime, I've figured out how to like, we have native threads, but you also can do like async stuff where you can do stuff on like a single thread and you use continuations to create like async stuff. So it's kind of like, you kind of have whichever one you prefer. And it's like, okay, I know, like, I've implemented how to, was there any concepts in Janet to Steel? Is that the question? Are there any concepts in Janet to Yoink? Is that the question? Yeah. I like the parser combinator or whatever the heck it's called. There's a library that he wrote for Janet that's cool. Peg? Is that right? Peg? Like the Steely Dan song? Peg, come back to me. Great song. That looks really cool. And I think at some point I'll like do an implementation myself. Otherwise though, quite honestly, I haven't really looked at Janet. Like, I know about it. People have written a lot about it. People are like, it's awesome. I'm like, that's fine. I got my own thing going on. And I try not to like read too much of like the implementations of other languages, not because I don't think it's worth doing, but because I try to derive it from first principles before I go and like yoink it. Usually that helps me try to figure out what I'm trying to do. So I haven't like spent a lot of time looking at Janet besides read the blog post here and there, poked around the docs here and there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, long-term goals, I would love to have steel be like really fast. So I over a couple I have a branch on this machine where I'm continuing work on the JIT. I want steel to be really fast. I want to get to the point where I can just write steel like only. That would be awesome. But also second, I want steel to be like a really good, like a really, really good first class embeddable language that people reach for. I think that would be cool. Like if it was up there, like if it was in the conversation. I think I've heard of this. How do you pronounce this? Oh yeah, isn't this the thing that you can't freaking read? But it's like it's just all the glyphs. Yeah. Weewa. That's cool. Shit's pissing me off though, cause at work I'm getting PRs that people are throwing in like Unicode arrows into their comments in the code. I'm like, I know you didn't type that. I know that's AI generated. I know it. We are not the same. Like I was putting Unicode arrows in my code because I was writing Agda, and I had an Emacs binding to use a Unicode arrow. However, you're just accepting the AI code from Claude and calling it a day. We are not the same. I think I would probably fuck with that if I sat down and like tried to write some code. I think I would enjoy it. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program here before I get too diverted. So what I'm trying to do is I want to list a list with embedded Weewa to get the best of both. Look, don't tempt me. Let me pull this thing up again. Is there a? It's on GitHub, right? Okay. Is there an embedding API or no? Is there an embedding API? I don't know. I bet we could hack it into Steel. I bet it's possible. We'll get there though. We'll get there. Okay. So what I was trying to do, now I'm just going to say module. Okay, now I need to get rid of this. Cuz module, I don't want that anymore. I'm getting rid of this. And path, this is gone. We don't need this anymore. And we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. There we go. Awesome. So now I just want to call this thing and make sure that it's working. So then if I do like module exports and I do like term.sem. Awesome. It is working. So now here, I don't want to just do this thing. I would like to call. Okay, so now I need to actually do this thing. Okay, so the preview function is going to take the picker selection that we have, the rect and the frame, and it was previously just this, and now we're just going to pass that in. What is this? Okay, this is cool. I'll take a look. I'll take a look as well. Okay, cool. So now I want to iterate over this. So we're going to bring this thing in here. Do for each index. Index line. Yeah, let me cook for a second. We're gonna cook for just a minute, and then we go back to distractions. List is going to be module. Oh my god. We're just gonna assume everything worked correctly. Exports as, we'll just say like symbols, module exports selection. We'll say that is what we want. And then for here, we're going to do frame set string. And we're just going to put toString line. And we need to add the index. And we're going to start at 1. And for each index needs to pass the symbols. Put it here. Okay, so now we're going to say go through each line, and this style should be like theme scope UI.text. Okay. UI.text. You know what? Let's just. There we go. So now it's showing us what are the functions available from each module that we have loaded as a plugin. Wow, that worked like first try. That's actually crazy. That's awesome. Okay. So now what else would we want in this little preview? Yeah, for each index, feel free to yoink. I really need better function. I'm trying to like, there's only so many hours in the day, okay? I'm trying to like create little abstractions, like a window where you don't have to like, you could just provide like a list. I wrote this for the Twitch chat thing that like does like text wrapping and stuff. So you just provide it. You provide just like a list of strings and it will just like format and render them in the block. So I'm going to try to like pull all those things together. Like I don't know where my Twitch chat is. I have somewhere there's a Twitch chat. I was working on that a while ago. But it's coming together. I mean, it gets better each time. Every day I look at this, every day more people work on this. It gets a little bit better. It reminds me, I merged in your tree sitter thing. And I thought it would be cool to try to use that. Whether or not I should. I thought it would be cool to use for this. I don't quite know. I need to go do some like studying, because I would imagine that like I don't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted in the preview, basically. I didn't know what I wanted. So, like, I don't know what should this preview be? What should it say? Because this shows like what are the available things. But then if I go like this, if I go like, and I go like open term, that also has like the bindings and stuff. So like I don't really think I need to show the bindings there. It's like, yeah, like this is awesome because it shows the bindings. Like I have, like this shows my recent files that I have open. Right. But like this thing doesn't need that. But I guess I could add like an explorer to download and install plugins. That could be good. Because there's this page of plugins. That's not it. Here we go. There's this, which has all of a bunch of plugins, and I was thinking, so I have let me zoom in here. Like you go in here and you click through. It's like, okay, we have like the scooter one, which is cool. We have like switcheroo. I think Ghost Text is broken, so I probably wouldn't include Ghost Text. Yeah, it's archived. Cool. Bummer. Mode lines on Codeberg. Nice. But it's like, this one's really good. I was like, I would want to just like include that. And then like switcheroo, that's cool. The smooth scroll is good. I like smooth scroll. What is this guy up to? Okay, whatever. There's literally dozens of plugins. The nREPL one's really good. Of course, my terminal doesn't show up here. Why? I need to work on that. But like this is sick as hell. This is awesome. Like you could write Clojure using this, the nREPL plugin, right? Or Jank, perhaps. But I have somewhere. It's like or is it steel? No, it's steel packages. Okay. This. So this is how. So if you use Forge, this is like the index. So when you run Forge to like, and you do like Forge, you do this, like that's pulled from there. And if you do like Forge package, like refresh, I think, yeah, it updates. So what I was thinking, it could be cool. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What could be cool is like having an explorer in this. And then it could like build up it could build up a it could build up your, I don't know. I'm just spitballing. It could be cool though. You could explore the other ones and you could install it and it would like add the line to your config to like add the package or whatever. I don't know. I'm on the fence about all of it. But this is already successful for the evening as far as I'm concerned. This is sick. Cool. Honestly, that might be it for me tonight. Kind of want to go eat dinner. I think I might. Well, anyway, this was success. This looks way better than it did before. Let me just push that. Oh my god, there's so many changes. Let me just add the Space Max one, the picker one, the package one. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's what's nice is this is using a generic picker. So like you can use this picker, like the component is just like you pass in the picker, which is your list of selections, and the preview function, so like what goes in the right hand side, and then like how you highlight it. So then it would just pop up, and So I'm still working on that part, but it's the same. I have like a, like the completion. Like if you do like this part, my LSPs. I need to, if you do like, you get the completion. Like I've replicated this, so I can invoke my own little picker. I think if I check, it's like. Is it picker selection? Let me see. Where did is it picker? I don't know where I did that. It's somewhere in there. But yeah, same idea. It very much uses the same stuff. So I'll tinker. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it. I am going to go eat some food. Have a good Sunday night. Catch y'all later.